getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Murat in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down in towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's just such up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
down.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and from the home of British Motorsport, we head to a land down under. It's time for round 3, season 1 of the 2024 UK SimRacers here live on JP Broadcasting. My name's Alex Goldschmidt, and alongside me in the booth tonight will be James Parfitt. Of course, Mount Panorama, seat in iconic motorsport folklore, just measuring just over around 6.1 kilometres, 709 metres above sea level. And in New South Wales, this is going to be a true test of all our drivers tonight, of which we have got the best part of nearly 20 Mazda MX5s. We've got 4 races coming up. We've got qualifying starting in the next couple of minutes. But let's take you through the point standings of the drivers coming into this 3rd round of the championship season. We've already had 2 great parts of the season so far, but look at who is at the front of the field. Miles Owens from SimRacers Sweden Esports on 327. Tom Griffiths, who has been pretty much at the sharp end, is on 318, just 9 points adrift. Daniel Hunt rounds out the top 3 on 291. Pete Newman and PVG ran out the top 5 on 277 and 266 apiece. Jamie Ayres, the Welshman, in 6 on 251 ahead of Ralph Cullinan. Daniel Dennison not with us tonight, so get well soon, Dan. We'll hopefully see you back next time out for round 4. He's ahead of Arnaud Chagnon with Steve Hefford from the Momo team rounding out the top 10 on 192 points. Martin Sampson from Optical Red in 11th, ahead of Colin Sansom. Jamie Wilson, Fiona Siddons and Darryl Wright round out the top 15 with 187 points covering the top 15 places. Andy Littler, Charles Kellerman, Mick Barry, Craig Jones and Steve Hansford round out the top 20. 23 drivers in total have scored points over the course of this first of 3 seasons. It is we're going to have a seasonal championship, so we have a spring, a summer, a winter, an autumn season. And there'll be a champion declared in both Pro and Am for each one. And then we will have the drivers that will be the best out of all 3. And we put them together so it becomes a bit like a tri-championship. But without further ado, let me bring my partner in crime into the commentary box. James Parfitt, buddy. Good to be back along with you once again after what were 4 exciting and interesting races back at Silverstone. But now Mount Panorama is going to provide a different challenge, as Tom Griffiths has just found out on the start-finish straight.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things they're going to have to look out for. Coming out that final corner at Murray's, it's going to be a difficult one for them. It's going to be an opportunity for overtaking, going through Hell's Corner down into Griffin's Bend. The draft is going to be strong. Up through the cut-in and McPhillamy and down in through the Dipper and Skyline. Probably not going to be overtaking anything. And then that run from Forest Elbow down into the Chase Chicane. That's another going to be passing opportunity. But they're going to be long old laps here tonight. So we're going to have to see how these guys get on.
Yeah, around about the 2:30. Of course, the Mount Panorama circuit has been around for quite a long time. It's actually, when it's not used as a racetrack, is used as a public road. Is also the host of the Repco Bathurst 12 Hours, and of course the Repco Bathurst 1000. But time to get qualifying underway. 6 sectors as Dan Hunt from the DOF Reality and Sim Racing Studios number 7 is the first car to lead them out of the pit lane, followed by Miles Owens, who instantly pulls, or was that Ewan Bremer, I believe, possibly pulling over to the, I think that was Miles Owens in the 74, pulling over to the right-hand side to let everyone else go out first, because we both know, James, you get a wicked tow down Mountain Straight into Griffin's Bend here at turn number 2.
Yeah, you definitely do, and I think it's going to be very hard for them to really work this out, right? Because quality is very, very tricky. They've got to look at whether or not they're going to be out in front like Dan Hunt is, or whether or not he's going to sit back. Now, ideally, you want to kind of be in second and third to get the maximum draft here. But I think overall, it could be quite interesting if Dan's going to be able to do it. But he hasn't got any teammates to give him a push down that long Conrod straight. So it could work out that Dan Hunt could end up being third or fourth even if people use the draft. And Colin Sansom is in YouTube chat. Good luck always, firm. Summer Farmer States, which I believe is Fiona Siddons. Hello all, going to be a fun one. Well, it definitely is. We've got no Craig Jones here tonight. He can't get lost at Bathurst. Apparently he's not had enough practice and he's taken a night as a drop week.
Yeah, so is Dan Dennison. So, of course, they are going to be coming back next time out at round 4. But we are on board with Dan Hunt coming out of Forest Sailboat. So it's the long run down to the chase. These cars will be pushing north of 125 miles an hour in top gear. Then you're going to see those behind really start to close on in. Looks like, well, we're going to see from the telemetry from Dan Hunt. He's going to head down Conrod Straight over the crest. 121 miles an hour indicated. He's going to flick it right into the chase. 128, 129, nearly, 130. 131 indicated on the speedo as he hits the anchors hard into the first part of it, into the right-hander, down to 70 miles an hour in second gear. Gets a real good run out of that second part of the chase, and then it's down to Murray's Corner, which is turn number 21 on this 6.213 kilometre circuit. So Dan Hunt will lead the field across the line, and we're going to see the first initial benchmarks, as Dan Hunt was one of the fastest in free practice. Well, it's actually going to be their first full push lap. I got myself a little bit too overexcited there, James.
Yeah, that's just their out lap, unfortunately. As I say, it's a long old lap. They're not going to get many in. The race is only going to be about maybe 6 pushing 7 laps. That's going to be about it. So, yeah, we're not going to see a massive amount of lap completed. We're going to see 6, maybe 7, possibly 7 at the most here. But I don't think this is going to deter these guys. I think overall they're still going to be, you know, bringing us the great racing that we expect. And I think it's just going to continue. Dan Hunt leading the way with Jamie Ayres. Jamie Ayres is going to get a nice little draft. Tom Griffiths is going to get a bit of a draft if he can pull Pete Newman along with Steve Hefford. So overall, I think there could be some very close times coming on the board over the next few minutes.
Yeah, I completely agree with that one, as we are riding on board with Dan Hunt again in the number 7, the DOF Reality and Sim Racing Studios car. Coming through in towards Salmon Park and then down through the compression. Then it's going to be over the crest. Jamie Ayres purple in sector number 2 and the number 46 from Momo. Now they go through into McPhillamy Park. And then it's going to be the iconic bit here at Skyline, which is the highest part on the circuit, 709 metres above sea level. Then it's down through the S's into the Dipper. You can see that the left-hand side, when they use that curbing through the S's, it's getting a little bit damper happy, the fact that it's bouncing up and down. Jamie Ayres looks to have a real good amount of pace at the moment, but everyone, of course, no surprise here, James, being this the first push lap as Hunt steers it nice and cleanly and gets very close to the wall. He's actually got Jamie Ayres right behind him, so Ayres got a really good toe in sector 2. That put him purple.
Yeah, it did, and I think it's not going to stop running down this Conrod Straight. You can see they're coming up over the hill now. Under the bridge they're going to go down through the right-hander and then drop down into the chase. Jamie Ayres is pulled out. He's carrying a lot more speed than Dan Hunt. He could end up slowing himself down. He doesn't. He makes the move nice and cleanly. Jamie Ayres into the chase. Through the first part now, through the second part now, and off he goes. Dan Hunt's just got that first lap all wrong. He's going to have to go again as he's off the side of the circuit. So unfortunately for Dan Hunt, no lap time's going to register on this one. What's Jamie Ayres going to do as he's going to come over the line? He's got purples in 2, purples in 5, green in 6, green in 1, 2 and 3, and goes on to pole on a 2:31.763.
Yeah, Cullen's has gone purple in sector 3. Sansom has gone purple in sector 4. Tom Griffiths just under 0.2 of a second behind as we run on board with the number 46 for the briefest of moments. Now we're back on board with Miles Owens, currently leading the point standings just by 9. Steve Hefford has gone purple in sector 1, but he's had a couple of dramas in sectors 4 and 5. And that could compromise his run coming out of Murray's Corner, so very shortly he'll be coming across the stripe. Yeah, like you say, it's going to be a real tough, tall order, even with a longer lap and still the same amount of time for qualifying. So Steve Hefford on that particular occasion
no
time. So he also invalidated. PVG not also sending lap time. Pete Newman also some of the drivers at the sharp end of the field at Silverstone International last week, they all have come a cropper on the opening lap of pushing in qualifying.
Yeah, they've got to go again now. This is the tricky bit. You kind of wanted to get a first lap in on your first out lap, as Tom Griffiths gets it all a little bit wrong going up through McPhillamy. Jamie Wilson has got some greens on the board. He's now coming through the left-hander before he drops down into Skyline. Don't want to hit the curb on the right-hand side. It will suck you in like Velcro and not let you off as he drops in now through the dipper, through the right-hander, down the left-hander he goes, gets that car all a little bit sideways. Now the run down into Forest Elbow. He's going to be up through the gears, down through the gears now onto the brakes in a straight line. Round Forest Elbows goes, 2 yellows, Maximum is in his green and purple. Depends what the offset is really for him, Alex, and them two.
Yeah, of course, the 87 being, I think if I remember correctly, one of our 4 race winners. So we've already had 8 out of 48 races completed. So by the end of this, we'll be pretty much a quarter of a way through the amount of races that we've got. So there are 12 rounds in all, each comprising of 4 races, as the 87 comes through into the braking zone, off of Conrod Straight, into the first part of the chase. Jamie Ayres, could he possibly improve on that 2-minute 31.7? We were seeing mid 2:31s in free practice, and Ayres is had a bit of a drama of his own right. Pete Newman is about to come through Murray's corner and come across the stripe. But the big question is, will Jamie Wilson improve from 3rd position? That's the key point here. As Pete Newman goes P3, Wilson has now been demoted to 5th, courtesy of Dan Hunt as well, and has put in a personal best of a 2:32.106. Still remains 5th at the moment, with Ralph Cullinan about half a second adrift of him. But still, after the first, 8 minutes of qualifying, being a 15-minute session, top 5 at the moment, James, covered by 3.5 tenths.
Yeah, we're going to see what it is when Pete Van Gool goes over the line, and Jamie Ayres and Pete VG and Steve Hefford, the Momo boys here, giving each other a draft. Van Gool into 10th, Hefford into 11th. So they're going to rely on Jamie Ayres now to try and pull them as long as best they can. For me, what he's better off doing is getting Pete Van Gool along this part on the run down into turn number 2 into Griffins, letting him go before he gets there, and then pulling Steve Hefford down to Conrad. Because otherwise there ain't going to be many places if PVG catches him up there, and you're going to trip over each other coming down the Conrad Straight. And it's one thing they don't want to be doing into qualifying, because otherwise they're going to be cemented in 10th and 11th as they've gone under the 5. Well, coming into the last 5 minutes, it's going to be very difficult to get a lap time on the board.
Yeah, especially with the lap times being at 2 minutes, just over 2.5 minutes. But of course, folks, don't forget, you've got the prediction game to think about. It's all a bit of fun, a bit of banter, and James has already won the first 2 rounds anyway. So it's just for a little banter. So if you are watching on the JP Broadcasting Network, please put your predictions for races 1 to 4 of tonight here at Mount Panorama on who you think is going to win. The first race will be started by the grid determined by qualifying. Race 2 will be top 11 inverted as per the finishing results. So it's on pole for race 2. Then we have a complete reverse grid for race 3, if I remember correctly, James. And then race 4, I think there was also another inverted reverse grid pole, wasn't there?
Yeah, there will be. It's a random reverse for race 3, and then a reverse for race 4. So we'll keep you updated and let you know what the reverses are when we take that short break between race 2 and race 4 here.
Yep, so we are coming down to the last 4.5 minutes of qualifying. There is the number 39 of PVG, Pete Van Gool from the Netherlands, the Flying Dutchman, making his way down Conrad Straight. Looks like the front bumper's been slightly rearranged as well. So whether he's had a slight touch with the back of another MX5 or he's inadvertently clipped a barrier somewhere. But at the moment, PVG is improving. I think he's just put in his personal best in sectors 1, 2 and 3. Not been so good through sectors 4 and 5 as Pete Newman decides to get out of the way. PVG down in sectors 4 and 5. Currently sitting at 10th place at the moment, but does the number 39 from Momo improve out of Murray's corner across the line? Where does PVG go now? I don't think he improved. he didn't go up a place, but he definitely improved his lap time on that one. So did a 2-minute 34.064. As Tom Griffiths has gone back into the pit lane, hasn't he?
Yeah, Griffiths has jumped in, Wilson's in, Cullinan's in, Chononier's in, Sampson is in, Miles Owens, Darrell Wright, Charles Kellerman, Steve Hansford, Mick Barry and Callum McPherson. Of course, under their rules, they're not allowed to come back out. So, unfortunately for them guys, they will be staying where they are.
Yeah, the only person yet to set a lap time, the 350 Result Clothing iRacing team's Callum McPherson, yet to do so. The legendary Mick Barry has put a lap time on the board. He's only decided to put one lap on the board because trying to do oh, dearie me, PVG got it all crossed up coming through out of the cutting and had a bit of a tank slapper, so that's lost him time in that opening, in that second sector of the 6th round here at Mount Panorama. But still, Jamie Ayres, by just under 2/10, is ahead of Tom Griffiths. Pete Newman, Dan Hunt, Jamie Wilson ran at the top 5. Ralph Cullinan in 6th. Colin Sansom followed by Arnaud Chononier. And still, I mean, the first set of laps that we saw in qualifying, James, really have really just decided the grid for race 1. But still, to have 5 cars within 3.5 tenths after the opening 5 minutes of qualifying, we were going to see that the drivers that were going to be at the sharp end of the field were going to be the ones that were just going to put one big lap in, try and see if they could improve fractionally, and then just leave it as that.
Yeah, that's the thing with this racetrack. And qualifying, as much as I would love to sit back and say, oh, it means loads, it's so difficult here, because by the end of lap 1, you know, by the time they get to Griffin's on lap 1, everybody's changed around. Because the draft is so strong, you know, and the draft is even stronger going down Conrad. So by the end of Conrad, although we've got Jamie Ayres in first, I'll be very surprised if he's leading the first lap. I definitely will eat my hat. Not that I've got one on, but you know what I mean.
Have you got the ketchup to go with that hat and a knife and fork too?
No, because it's never going to happen. Jamie Ayres will not be in first by the time they get there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that front. There normally is carnage going to Griffin's Bend for the first time. Steve Hefford now goes ahead of PVG in the final throws of qualifying. So
still a port lap,
my time out. Yeah. I mean, 1.6.
Yeah.
It's 1.6 seconds, and PVG's 1.8 seconds off pole. So, yeah, it's just like that. Like we saw that moment when PVG came out of the, you know, through the second sector, got very, very tail happy, and that just cost him all the momentum that he'd gathered up Mountain Straight into Griffin's Bend, then through the cutting. Tom Griffiths, well, he's just really going to sort of like say, well, I'm going to be on the front row anyway, and if he can get the run on Jamie Ayres down Mountain Straight into Griffin's Bend on that one, if Jamie Ayres makes it that far, as you were discussing just a couple of moments ago, you know, Griffiths is just going to go, well, pole's great, but do I want to be the one with the target on my back heading down into Hell Corner?
No. I think that's the thing. You want to make sure that you're, in an ideal world, Tom Griffiths needs to be in second. And that is just purely because of the fact that he's going to get a whopping draft down the start, done from turn 1 to turn 2. And he's going to get a big old straight. If he doesn't make it there, he's going to get a big old draft down and from Forest Elbow down into the chase. So either way, he's going to be sitting pretty, but there's the grid.
Apologies for that. I'm having to use the space bar and I mistimed it there. But here's your grid for race 1 of 4 out of round 3 at Mount Panorama for UkSimracers for season 1 of 2024. Jamie Ayres and Tom Griffiths on the front row. Pete Newman and Dan Hunt, row 2. Jamie Wilson, Ralph Cullinan round out row 3. It's an all-AM row 4. Colin Sansom versus Francis Arnaud Chononier, with Steve Hefford and PVG at a position in 9th and 10th respectively. Martin Sampson and Miles Owens round out the top 12, followed by Darrell Wright, Fiona Siddons, Charles Kellerman, Sir Alan Toone, Steve Hansford, Andy Littler, Mick Barry and Callum McPherson due to start down in 20th position. We are just waiting for a few of the drivers to ready up, but 15 minutes, well, at 2 minutes 30, maybe let's say benefit of the doubt here, James, 2 minutes 40. We're going to be lucky if we see about 6 laps out of each race tonight.
Yeah, you might get 7. You might, but it depends on how quick the laps are coming and how quick they're coming through. Obviously, on this one, you are expecting a 2:42, something around that number for the opening lap, and then you should see back down into the 2:30s. But obviously, if there's drama, well, you're not going to see that. So I think they're going to have to try and work this one out to get the maximum. But I am, 6, just maybe 7.
Well, without further ado, the lights are going to start igniting on the starting gantry here for race 1 of 4 for round 3 of the UK SimRacers Season 1. Lights are out. We are underway. Let's see who gets the whole shot. It's going to be Jamie Ayres leading the field away from Tom Griffiths. And it's Newman slotting behind the number 1 as they go into Hell Corner. It was nearly 2-3 abreast towards the bottom part of the top 10 as we ride on board with Jamie Ayres. So Alan Toon gets past Steve Hansford, and then they swap positions rather quickly again. Ralph Cullinan right up the rear bumper of Jamie Wilson. They are side by side up the hill, down Mountain Straight in towards Quarry Bend here at turn 2. Is Wilson going to chance it to go around the outside like we've seen in multiple different events so far in real life and in sim racing? Well, he's got Chanonnier up the inside. Hefford's got a possible opportunity maybe to get through. Hefford's dropped down into 11th. Sampson has got past Hefford in the meantime. And PVG now up to 9th. As Chanonnier has got Wilson up the inside. That's through the cutting. Now heading into the right-hander here at Griffin's Mount. And Chanonnier looks for the inside line into the double right-hander, which will bring them through into Reed Park, then into Suleiman. And it looks like Hefford trying to go side by side with Chanonnier as they go through into Suleiman Park before the run down into the compression zone, into McPhillamy. And then they're going to go through into Skyline, into the S's, into the S's, then into the Dipper. There is Colin Sansom, currently running P6 as they go down the hill for the first time around this 6.213 kilometre circuit. Not an easy side of things. Oh, dearie me, that's the 32 in the barriers. Cullinan is out.
Yeah, that was Ralph Cullinan, as he just got it wrong coming down into the hill here. You can see he drops down, gets it loose over the curb, and unfortunately for Ralph Cullinan, it's going to go round into the wall. Comes back into the middle of the circuit. Everybody felt it was through. Yeah. And Ralph does in the back. But at the moment, Jamie Ayres leading down through the chase. But here comes Pete Newman, Tom Griffiths, as he starts going to go now. Watch the run out of these guys. Who's going to go where? Newman and Griffiths. Newman's gone to the left. He's going to look at taking the inside into the chase. Hard on the brakes he goes. Jamie Ayres does manage to hang on. Is he going to make me eat my words here and hang on to the lead through the first lap? Oh, that ain't going to help though.
Well, no, if he's blipping like that, but he's still going to lead down into Murray's Corner as we are about to complete the opening lap with just over 12 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Jamie Ayres leads, Pete Newman second, Tom Griffiths rounds out the top 3. 2 minute 35.823 was the lap time set by the leader, but Tom Griffiths, we know how fast he is behind the wheel of a Mazda MX5 as we ride on board the rear part of the roll cage on this 2-litre 4-cylinder engine car, all production based, made ready for racing. Everything's stripped out, no creature comforts, no air conditioning, no lecky windows, but it's now going to be Newman looking to the inside of Ayres. He got the run down Mountain Straight, and it's going to be the run into Quarry Bend here at turn 2. Both hard on the brakes. Newman takes the lead.
Yeah, well, Jamie, you lasted longer than I predicted, as he's going to try and come up through the outside into the cutting. That's never going to be great, as Newman has got to try and brake in a straight line. There he goes. He tries to hold on, gives it a little bit of a dab. Through the cutting they go. Now they start to climb up through Quarries, the right-hander, over the bump on the right-hand side. Now they're going to hit another bump there. There it is. Into now puts you in place for the run through turn 6 and 7. Round over the hill.
Jamie Wilson has just dropped to the bottom of the order. He might have had a bit of an argy-bargy. So is Siddons, so is Owens. So we're going to have a look on board. And this, don't tell me you're going to try and go up the inside here. Past the cutting, it gets attacked from behind. And Wilson's got nowhere to go. Rear right hits into the wall, and then straight away, the 136 of Martin Sampson is nowhere to go. And then all of a sudden, oh, dearie me, the 57 lost their front bumper as well. dear.
Miles Owens
Or was it
in
the
there.
87?
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. Darryl Wright's front end is an absolute mess. Jamie Wilson, that won't buff out.
No, there was some weird move physics there because some of the bumpers
Yeah.
had come back, gone off and then come back on again. So unfortunately, there's a couple that's going to have to go into the pits. But here comes Newman once more down that Conrad. He's going to try and get the inside line if he can. As he starts leading down now, he's going to have to slot in. Jamie Ayres takes the lead again. And then PVG is coming down alongside Steve Hefford and Arnold Chagnon. And PVG isn't going to make it past Hefford going into the chase. Callum McPherson and Martin Sampson, they got caught
that's
up
brave.
in the incident. Sampson's giving them a little bit of squeeze, but McPherson makes it through and doesn't make it through, goes over the brakes and off the grass. And I can guarantee there was contact with Martin Sampson there, as he was never, ever going to stop that car, Alex, because of the overspeed from him.
And also the fact he had two wheels on the grass on the left-hand side of Conrad Straight. And then you can just see he lines it up, goes straight on. There was a little bit of a touch from behind. And yeah, well, you know what? You have to give a shout out to Callum McPherson. Didn't set a lap in qualifying and has rocketed up the order. Currently sitting in P12. Ahead of him is the legend that always makes an appearance, Mick Barry, at the end of our intros before every stream goes live here on JP Broadcasting. He is now up into 11th. There's Newman now up the inside through at Quarry. Back on Jamie Ayres for the race lead, and now Daniel Hunt is not too far behind. There is also Tom Griffiths. This could also give the opportunity. I'm going to throw something a little bit left field here, James. Colin Sampson, he's only 2 seconds behind, but Jamie Ayres again just looking for that opportunity, and he's trying to go round the outside at Reed Park of all places, going into Sulman. He's really got the bit between his teeth as the Welshman, but Pete Newman covers him off very, very nicely indeed.
That would be described as incredibly brave, or he's got the biggest kahunas in the world, because I can tell you that much, that is not an easy manoeuvre whatsoever. And he's got to be, Ayres must be carrying some speed at the moment, because he must feel he can get round there. Goes down now, drops down into the dip of the left-hander as these guys come right near the wall, through the right-hander on the exit. Now coming down into Forest Elbow. He's got to get hard on the brakes in a straight line coming down a hill of an off-camber corner, which doesn't sound easy, and it probably isn't. But watch Dan Hunt. If anybody's going to get the run at the moment, it should be Mr. Hunt getting that double draft back from these two guys in front.
Yeah, last time around he set the fastest lap of the race, 2:32.846. Now Griffiths is not too far behind. He's about 4 tenths behind Hunt, who in turn is just under 4 tenths behind Ayres as they go through. This is lap number 3 here at Mount Panorama of race 1 out of 4. Hunt swarming all over the back of Jamie Ayres to go towards the outside to get the crisscross through here at the chase. But doesn't get it done. 2 wheels on the grass for Jamie Ayres, but he still keeps the throttle fully lit and is right with Newman as they go down into Murray's corner again. Could Newman open the door here for Jamie Ayres? He's not going to do that if he can try his best, and they all going to go on the racing line out of Murray's corner. A little bit of a touch on the grass on the right rear by Newman, but it is going to be. Is it going to be the case that Ayres is going to get the overspeed into Hell corner here at lap 4? Not quite.
No, he's not going to get it this time, but the way he's going, he's going to get it down into Griffiths, and Griffiths is going to have to try and make a move as well, do the best as he can. But at the moment, I think Dan Hunt could be sitting in that kind of prime spot, the bingo slot. The 88, the 2 fat ladies, wherever he's going to be, he's sat there, because now he's going to get help from Pete Newman. Newman comes over to cover him off. That's going to should pull Hunt alongside Jamie Ayres as they're going through into Griffiths now. Now Hunt goes on the outside, he's on the inside on the left in the red and white. Ayres in the red and black, and at the moment it looks like he has, yes, Dan Hunt did get through with help from Pete Newman there along that straightaway.
Good strategic and tactical work there by Dan Hunt in the number 7. Steve Hefford, new fastest lap of the race, 2:32.842. He's currently behind PVG. They're battling away for 6th position, about 3 tenths of a second apart. But we ride on board with Dan Hunt in the number 7, closing in ever so surely. And there is Hefford, and they have got... who's that in front of them? That's Colin Sansom in the 24. And they are light astern, making their way through into the next part of the circuit. So they're going to be going down the hill into Skyline. through Skyline, into the S's, now into the Dipper. One wrong move here, as we saw a little bit earlier on with Ralph Cullinan, who is still circulating, but is nearly a lap down on the leaders. Great work here by Sansom to hold off PVG, who gets a bit too close to the wall on the outside of the exit of Forest Elbow. That's going to allow Steve Hefford to close in alongside him and get the side draft down Conrod. It could be very close to being a 3-wide moment with 3 Mazdas going at nearly 130 miles an hour down Conrod Straight.
Yeah, you can see Sampson didn't really know who to pick, who to pull through, who not to pull through. And now he's going to lose positions to both of them, as it looks like Van Gaal and Hefford have made it through. Dan Hunt got Pete Newman down into the chase as well. As much as I would love to say that battle's over, it's not. There's too many draft opportunities here for them not to swap places again, as Newman comes around the outside of Murray's, looking like he's going to take the lead, but Hunt's going to have the inside going into the Hell Corner.
Yeah, and you can see in the back of the shot, there's PVG. Well, there's Steve Hefford, there's PVG, and also Colin Sansom, as Hunt now leads us through Hell Corner on the beginning of lap number 5. 4.5 minutes remaining on this 6.213 kilometre circuit. First opened back in 1938. Pete Newman switching to the outside, down Mountain Straights, over the slight crest here, before they go down the slight compression and head into Quarry Bend here at turn 2. Newman is ahead before they've even hit the apex. Will Hunt look for the late move up the inside? He does. Newman keeps it pinned round the outside, but he's going to run wide. That's going to open the door for not just Hunt, maybe even Jamie Ayres, as they now go through in towards the cutting. Ayres is going to be very, very careful here around this part of the circuit. Nearly 3 wide at that point. You can't fit 2 GT3 cars, let alone having nearly 3 Mazda MX5s alongside each other, and Hunt still holds on to the race lead. Incredibly close battle between this quartet, and it's not going to die down any moment soon.
No, it definitely isn't. They're going to carry that on over the top of the mountain now. Through the left-hander at turn 10, dropping down. They're going to be coming as we jump on board with Dan Hunt in the front. Round the left-handers, come down now into Skyline. Under the bridge, we're going to try and straighten it up as much as we can. Onto the brakes, get it stopped for the left, get it stopped for the right. Now down into the Dipper, close to the wall as you dare on the exit. Coming down into Forest Elbow, and at the moment, Dan Hunt has got the lead, but for how long, that will be the question, as once again, we're coming down that fabulous Conrod Straight, where I can guarantee the lead's probably going to change by the end of this lap.
Yeah. And still 4 cars within 1.1 or 1.2 seconds of each other. Hunt leads from Newman, from Ayres. The top 3 at one point have led this race, as now Newman switches to the outside of Conrod as they come over the crest and then go down into the first part of the chase. Newman retakes the lead here on the near conclusion of lap 5. Jamie Ayres gets a bit brave towards the outside of the first part of the chase, looking to try and get the over-under. He might get the overspeed round the outside, but he's going to put 2 wheels on the curbing. That loses him momentum as we see the front end, the rearranged front end of Ralph Cullinan just coming into shot. But it is going to be Newman, who now nearly has an 0.8 of a second advantage over Dan Hunt. We're going on to, folks, the final lap. It's going to be lap 7 out of 7. Newman having a lead of just about 5.5 of a second heading into Hell Corner for the final time.
Yeah, he is. He's got to open up. He should have opened up enough, but watch that draft. Look, 5.8, 5.6, 5.4, 5.3 is coming down absolutely rapidly. Jamie Ayres, Dan Hunt side by side as they're going over the hill and coming into Ralph Cullinan. Where is Ralph going to go? What is he going to do? He's done... That was close for Newman as Cullinan lifted off. That's going to allow Hunt to come through. Who's going to be in the prime spot going into the final lap? Well, at the moment, if Jamie Ayres doesn't shut the door to Tom Griffiths, it's going to be Tom Griffiths, because you can guarantee that double draft from third through to second and first is going to be strong. But Jamie Ayres does manage to hold on as they start coming up through the cutting.
Yeah, Tom Griffiths was very good there, not to try and chance around the outside of the cutting, because that could have probably been one of the moves of the night, but then he could have put himself between a rock and a hard place there. But he's right on the back bumper of the number 46 as they are making their way through Salmon Park, down the compression into McPhillamy for the final time. Hefford still battling away with PVG. Those two are teammates. That's the battle for P5. as we now head over the crest of the circuit here into Skyline. Then it's going to be down a steep descent into the S's, then into the Dipper. Then it's going to be the case of who's going to line it up nicely through Forest Elbow. Riding on board here with Tom Griffiths on lap 7 out of 7. And they are still 1.1 seconds adrift. Now, Tom Griffiths has got to try and tee something up here. He's got to go tight to the wall on the inside, let the car run as wide as possible. That's exactly what you need to do, but Pete Newman at the minute has got a lead over Dan Hunt, and it's nearly 0.6 of a second. But with the power of the toe here on Conrod Straight, Griffiths now sizing up a move on Ayres. He's going to go towards the outside. He's sticking his nose out to the 46 as if to say, look, don't forget, I am behind you. One wrong mistake and I'm past you. But they go into the chase for the final time. Newman has got Hunt towards the outside, into the left-hander. Then it's the right. Hunt breathing all up the exhaust pipes of Newman as they come another chase for the final time. It's the run down to Murray's corner. Griffiths going towards the outside of Ayres. Newman trying to keep it tight to the inside. Will this give the opportunity, depending on what happens there? 2x2, hurrah, Noah's Ark style, through out of the final corner. It looks like it's going to be Newman as Hunt turns around and he goes into Ayres and into Griffiths on the final corner. And Steve Hefford just got collected. PVG gets through all the madness and collects second. Wow.
That happened.
Yes. So let's have a look at the replay here. So Newman is pretty much where he needs to be, but then Hunt decides, right, I'm going to go for it.
Loose.
And he got loose. I think he hit the loud pedal, and then he collects Ayres and Griffiths into the barriers, bang. And then straight away, you're going to see PVG. Well, Steve Hefford has got nowhere to go. PVG lines up, threads the other needle straight through, and he's got second. And Steve Hefford in all of that got fifth. And he actually assisted by punting Jamie Ayres and Tom Griffiths across the line in front of him.
That was the problem.
Oh, dearie me.
He pushed him. He would have got third, but he pushed Ayres. The finishing line is right near the line. It's literally just in front of where they are. So by doing that, he's pushed Ayres over the line. There he is. The line's just literally, we've just got past it. So, he did give him a little bit of a shove over the line there, but it's very interesting one, mate. And here are the results for you.
Well, race 1 out of 4 for round 3 goes to Pete Newman from Pure Sims. PVG 4.73 seconds behind. Jamie Ayres and Tom Griffiths, thanks to the big punterino from Steve Hefford. He actually hit Griffiths, which then did the old Paul Cannon shot into Jamie Ayres. So Ayres went backwards over the line and took third. Griffiths fourth, Hefford fifth, Sansom sixth ahead of Sean Onyea. Charles Kellerman, Martin Sanson, Callum McPherson from the back end of the grid to finish 10th and 11th. And was it a top 11 reverse grid, wasn't it, for race 2?
Yeah, it was.
Sir Alan Toon is your pole sitter for race 2. Mick Barry 1 position away from that, ahead of Steve Hansford. Andy Littler, Darryl Wright, and Fiona Siddons round out Darryl Wright, Jamie Wilson, Fiona Siddons round out the top 17. Dan Hunt, Ralph Cullinan, still got to the end with a front bumper being nowhere near the car and had actually been lost earlier on in the race. Head of Miles Owens, who ended up 2 laps down. But, Jamie Ayres has got 1 win in the books. Who's it going to be for race 2, I wonder?
I don't know, to be honest, because it was Pete Newman who got the win, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, Pete Newman. Sorry, my apologies about that.
Then PVG, then Ayres getting the assist from Steve Hefford as he just gave him a little bit of a shove over the line. And that's the problem. The line here isn't... I'm saying that none of the blinking lines at these racetracks on iRacing seem to be in the right place, or whether or not that is how it is at Bathurst. The finishing line is literally coming off round the corner. So... yeah, but I think there was not a lot Steve could do. He come round completely blank as he's sitting here waiting in the waiting room. We'll have a quick chat with Steve now. Steve, how are you?
Not bad, buddy. Yeah.
I'm all right, mate. Not too bad at all. You helped Jamie Ayres get third.
Yeah, I picked the wrong side though, didn't I?
Yeah.
There was a gap when I came around the corner. There was a gap, and I was like, right, that's my gap. And then Tom started reversing, pushing Jamie backwards sideways, and as soon as he did that, the gap closed up, but it was too late. So
Yeah.
PVG picked the right side.
Yeah, he did. However, he shot the bumper, I think, of one of them across the start-finish line at the same time. Yeah. But, you can't really go and argue with it. This racetrack's that, isn't it? It's draft. By the end of the last lap, where do you want to be? Probably in second, because you're going to get a draft down to Conrad to be able to get the win.
Yeah. It is. You've got to stay with that lead pattern. We and Pete had bad. We had a half spin coming down the hill in quali, so I got a rubbish quali. I think PVG had his gearbox, and he'd had a problem with his assignments for his gearbox, so he didn't get out of the pit, so he didn't have draft. So we both had. I think we were 10th and 11th, were we, or 9th, 10th, I think, on the grid. Yeah. So we had a decent race. It was a really good race, but there was a few cars in front that we could use for draft, and we were working together. But then when we got to the guys in front, and there was a 2.8 second gap, and they were just pulling away then. So we was praying for something to happen on the last lap, but last corner, epic.
Yeah, last corner, epic, and you went the wrong way.
I went the wrong way.
Yeah, well, there's always race 2 and 3 and 4, mate. I'm sure at the end of the day,
certainly is.
Yeah, you can work your way through. I don't even know if quali was that important, wasn't it? If you look at where PVG finished, but there we go, mate. Going to be an interesting one. I hope you managed to get all 4 races done under your belt. So have a good one, bud.
Yeah, that's the one. Finish them all. Yeah, right, cheers, buddy. Have a good night.
And you, mate. Take care.
Take it easy.
There you go. As he said, the game is to finish all 4 of them, Alex.
Yeah, 100% agree. As he said, yeah, PVG picked the right side, but yeah, PVG punting a bumper, and Steve unfortunately punting the 2 cars that ended up in front of him at the finish line, with being so close out of Murray's corner. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be quite an interesting one with race 2. The thing is, in our excitement of this first race, we didn't actually have our picks, did we?
No.
So I'm going to go with Dan Hunt for race 2.
Right, okay. I can't remember who was where, to be honest with it, Alex. So yeah, what was it? Top 11, wasn't it? Oh man, yep. That is a rapid front grid, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna go with Steve. I think I'm gonna go with Steve Hefford here. But here is the grid for race number 2. So Alan Toon on pole with Callum McPherson in second, Martin Sampson third, Charles Kellerman in fourth with Arnold Chonier and Colin Sampson. Steve Hefford in 7th, Tom Griffiths 8th, Jamie as 9th, Pete Van Gool 10th, Pete Newman and Mick Barry behind that. Then Steve Hansford, Andy Littler, Darryl Wright, Jamie Wilson, Fiona Siddons, Dan Hunt, Ralph Cullinan and Miles Owens. The lights are going to be coming on straight away. We've got 4, we've got 5 and we are up and running and we are green. Tooney gets it off the line. Can he hold it all the way through for the first lap, or is he just going to back out of it? I'm hoping he holds it. I'm hoping he goes for it. He's got the lead round the first corner. That's great for him as he's managing to hold on. You can see the little bit of bumping in the background, door to door to door to door. They're going along now, all fighting its way down from turn 1 from Hell Corner, coming down into Griffiths. It's side by side. McPherson, Toon, Sampson. The outside line's got to run. It's like watching a NASCAR race on the final rundown. Tooney loses out. He's down into 4th place. 2B2 going round turn 1. Mike Sampson gets the whole shot coming out of Griffin's Bend. Job done for him, and Sir Alan Toon down in the 5th.
Yeah, Steve Hefford has already made up a couple of positions. He's up to P5 now, and he's going around the outside of Sir Alan Toon. So, well, he was already past him. So, and now he's trying. Now Hefford. Oh, dearie me, Sir Alan Toon got a bit checked up a little bit there, and he's just lost quite a few places, and he's down outside the top 11 because Mick Barry has got through on him. But Steve Hefford trying to get a wriggle on early. He's battling away with Sean Onyea. McPherson leading the way in the AMs, and he's being chased down by Charles Kellerman in the number 67. So that's a battle for P2 and P3 on the road. As well, Jamie Wilson, his luck doesn't seem to be going his way. Is Steve Hefford looking towards the inside, through into the approach into Skyline on Chanonnier as they head down into the S's. Very, very close battle, but again, as we saw in race 1, oh dearie me, Sampson has become the latest curse through the Dipper.
The problem is he was in the lead here, Martin Sampson. This was probably just a part and parcel skilled issue over the bump, down in the inside, gets it all loose out of the Dipper, hits the wall, back into the track. Steve Hefford misses him, Sampson misses him, Van Gool does a little bit of spinneroony there. Miles Owens, that's Jamie Wilson, he's gone round, unfortunately for him, manages to avoid everybody. Steve Hansford's pointing in the opposite direction, and unfortunately, looks like if he's made it through, he might have done, but that's Steve Hansford who was facing the wrong way, and we know Dan Hunt also could end up facing the wrong way as well. And Dan Hunt, it attaches. So it comes off, goes back on there, but unfortunately for Dan Hunt, he's now down in 17th place, Alex, with Tom Griffiths, Jamie Ayres running down through into Murray's Corner now. Ayres does make it on the inside of Arnold Chanonnier. Griffiths is going to do the same. And back up front, it's McPherson with Kellerman and Hefford.
Well, the thing was, Steve Hansford did exactly the same as what Ralph Cullinan did. Lost the back end at exactly the same point, impacted the same point on the inside, or the outside wall going through the Dipper. Yeah, McPherson has a 1.4 second lead over Steve Hefford, as Kellerman doing a sterling job in the number 67 car from Optical Green. But looks like Hansford and Sampson won't be. Oh, Dan Hunt's already gone into the pit, so that's my pick out. It looks like possibly.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
One other man that is out is Martin Sampson. He's here. Martin, very short-lived race too. How are you, sir?
Oh yeah. Well, I was quite looking forward to that race. Started on third on the grid, and then I go and have a kiss to the wall. So I thought I'll come and see you, because it normally happens the other way round.
Yes, you normally come and see me and then you have a rotten race, but you've had a rotten race.
Yeah, that's it.
So you're going to come and see me and hope for a great race 3.
Well, this is the plan. That's what I'm looking at. So my fingers are crossed. I couldn't believe that. I just came down the hill with all that and cold tyres and pushing too hard, and yeah.
Yeah, but
it was just one of those.
But it was fun while it was lasted out in front, right?
Oh, well, I loved every bit of it. I mean, going down the first long straight, and I was pushing Callum to get him past Alan.
We've just had a big old off. Steve Hefford has just caused a pile-up.
Oh my dearie me.
I saw his car come into shot. Now this is coming down into the S's, into the Dipper. He's lost the. He's going to lose it somewhere. He's come through into. He's pinballed off the wall and bang straight into the front of everybody else.
Slow down. Arnold Chanonnier just pelted it.
Charles Kellerman got involved, Pete Newman involved, and also Jamie Ayres. And look, everyone else is closing rapidly, and they managed to get out of. They got out of Dodge free. Right there.
Oh mate, that is.
Well, all I can say to that is at least I didn't hit anybody.
Well, you didn't. You probably found the only bit of runoff going through that area there, Martin. Let's be real about it, didn't you? And unfortunately, Steve found everybody else as a runoff in front of him.
I mean, I should get bonus points for that.
Pete Van Gool's just gone round. He's just put.
Oh, you're kidding me.
He's just put Sanson in the wall behind him.
Oh, dearie me. Gets it all right in the last.
Big Barry. From the highlights of Interlagos to the lowlights of Bathurst for Mick. He's just gone round at the final corner as well. It's all going. See, Martin, you left the race and it's all gone a bit Pete Tong.
I know. I think I'm doing you a favour. I've come in and then all this excitement. I mean, PBG then, he lost the rear end just before we even started turning, so that was unlucky.
Well, at the moment, Sir Alan Toon's doing a Ralph Cullinan, guys, because he's got no front bumper and he's still trying to get that wagon around the circuit to the end of the race.
I wish Tooney would just go for it.
Alan will keep on going until his car says no more. Alan's brilliant with that. He loves it.
Yeah, but don't you wish so, Martin, he would just go for it and not rolling over? Because he does roll over.
Yeah, I do. I tell him, I say, don't let me through, don't slow down, just go. You know, make it more fun. He enjoys it though as well, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, well, Martin, have a good watch of what's going on in here, because at the moment the closest battle is in the AMs with Littler, Wright, Kellerman, Siddons and Sir Alan Toon. Everybody else is a little bit more spread out, with Callum McPherson leading the way. So there we go, buddy.
Oh, good luck to him. I hope Callum can do it. It'd be good if he does.
Yeah, well, he's 7 seconds in front. Let's hope he does as well, mate. But Martin, good luck in race 4. We've reversed good luck to you. I think that's the word.
Yeah, I think I'm going to need it.
All right, mate. Have a good one.
Thank
and
you.
We'll catch you soon.
And you. Cheers, bye.
Well, there we go. That was a little bit different bringing Martin in. We brought him in, Alex, and chaos happened.
Yeah, Steve Hefford decided to lose the back end of all places. But we're now with, who are we with at the moment? That's the 999 of Andy Littler.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got Darryl Wright not too far behind him. But yeah, shout out to Colin McPherson, fastest lap. And he's up the. He's. I think he's trying to make his way to Surfers Paradise at this rate, because he's 6.7 seconds up the road from Tom Griffiths. Sean Onier in third, Colin Sansom in fourth. But yeah, what we got a replay being shown
one
here. So you got. Well, this is from. That's Miles Owens getting turned around, and that was by the.
Tooney.
Oh, that was Tooney, and that's why Tooney lost his front bumper.
And then this is the
So
Steve
that's
Hefford chaos, I guess.
Yeah. So literally comes out of the S's, goes into the dipper, and then he just loses it, pinballs over the other side, collects
Everyone.
67 of Charles Kellyman. Then Pete Newman's got nowhere to go. Pete Newman decides to do a few 11s, and then everyone else just closes in. As luckily enough, Steve Hefford hit the tow button at that point, but that was just gnarly.
Yeah, and then we had this coming down after that. This was Pete Van Gaal coming around the final corner. He spins up. Poor old Colin Sanson went the wrong way. Didn't go with Tom Griffiths. He went there, and unfortunately got collected by Pete Newman's rear end, and he's put him straight against the wall. So yeah, that also happened while Martin was in the booth with us. Miles Owens has jumped back to the pits. I think he's had a problem here as well. It looks like looks like his car just isn't really doing a lot, unfortunately. Just can't turn, can't do anything. He jumps back to the pits as well.
Yeah.
But Pete Newman and Colin Sanson here. I think Newman might have damage after that incident with Steve Hefford.
Yeah, it looks like the front right, the bumper is slightly stoved in and scraped, and he's very, very close to the wall as well, heading through into McPhillamy. So you got that deep compression zone. Yeah, you can see the right front is looking an absolute mess at the minute. Unfortunately, Pete, that won't buff out, but he's got Sansom trying to breathe all over the back end of him at the moment as they go through the S's in and now into the dipper. That's where Steve Hefford lost it a few moments ago. He just literally did the old mean pinball in the words of the Who. And then just collected everybody else close to him, including Charles Kellerman, who unfortunately had nowhere to go. It was just like Hefford just lost it. Back in, stepped out to the left. He hit the barriers, pinballed over to the other side, and Charles Kellerman went, right, there's nothing I can do. Very much like what we had with regards to Steve Hefford punting Ez and Griffiths across the line when PVG decided to yeet a bumper over the start-finish line and still take second.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it, with Charles Kellerman? He just didn't have anywhere to go. He couldn't go anywhere, and he couldn't avoid anything because there's no room. Fiona Siddons here fighting away with Andy Littler. This is the two work up by results guys scrapping it through once more. And Fiona Siddons does make it through. She goes through up in front of Andy Littler. What about PVG and JB Wilson? Well, they're back together again, and they're coming down into Murray's now. Wilson's leading the way. PVG's going to look up the inside if you leave the door like that. I'm surprised he hasn't taken a dive on it. Miles Owens in YouTube chat, my night is not going well. It hasn't gone well, dear sir, there. Unfortunately for you, but I'm sure we'll see you back in race 3 and race 4, but at the moment Pete Newman is being chased down by Colin Sanson, and he hasn't really got the pace to hold on here, I don't think.
No, he hasn't. With a slightly compromised and damaged vehicle, Sanson's going to bump draft him at the moment, going through into Quarry Bend here at turn 2. But yeah, just you can see that Newman's got a little bit more of a composed suspension, even though the front end's a bit of a mess and a bit of a slight write-off, to be honest with you. But yeah, Colin Sansom, he's got no lack of straight line speed. I think it's just because of, obviously, we know what Pete Newman's like. He's won at least a couple of races this season so far. So to have that car literally cornering on rails, but then that's where he's making up the time in comparison with the start-finish straight, mountain straight, and Conrod. That's where he's going to lose all that time, because even with the fact that these are production-based cars, folks, you get a little bit of damage on there. That's still going to affect the basic aerodynamics of the car.
Yeah, it is. And oddly enough, at certain times of races, it's probably better that you hit the other side. And that comes from the fact that certain points of damage where the wheels, where if the bumper's rubbed in on the wheel, if you knock the other side, it straightens out the side that you've got the damage on. So in an ideal world, at some points, Pete Newman kind of might want to give the other side a bit of a look to see if it corrects the issue. But he seems to be getting back up to pace again. I don't know if he's just had it was just a slow lap. He's doing, what's he doing at the moment? 120. Topping 121. What's Colin Sanson doing at the same time? He's on the 121s up, so he has got a little bit more speed than Pete. Littler here holding on from Pete Van Gool, Jamie Wilson and Fiona Siddons. It looks like Wilson's just about to make that move past Siddons as they go up over the crest, drop down the other side. Wilson's going to have the outside line. Is he going to be able to hold on? That's going to be the question. We'll watch it on board from Pete Van Gool. He's now going through on Andy Littler. PVG's now taking a run. He's got the draft as well. Are they going to clear both of these guys in one foul swoop? It looks like they are, Alex. And it looks like it could be job done for Pete Newman.
Oh, PVG gets the tag, and then Littler gets, well, as a result of the resounding contact, PVG saves it. Littler ends up spinning around, and Alan Toon, in the meantime, has actually gained a place, and he's right with Fiona Siddons. So we're going to have a look here. Now, they come down through into the chase. So there's Fiona Siddons, and then you see the turning from PVG, taps the right front of Andy Littler, who ends up spinning around. Fiona Siddons was far enough away to stay out of harm's way, and there's PVG out of, what was that, held corner. He was sideways, and the throttle was still fully lit. We're on to the final lap, it looks like.
Yeah, we are now. Barney's waving. On board with Tooney, he's got no front end currently at the moment, with Fiona Siddons in front of him. As he starts going down, we can have a look at the front end of Tooney's car. There it is. It's got no bumper. He's reducing his own aerodynamics this time around as he's going round Griffins on that run into the cutting. But Tooney doing a great job keeping that car running. Arnold Chagnon, well, he's got the man, the myth, the legend that is Pete Newman behind him. So Newman's obviously found some speed from somewhere where we thought he's pulled out 3.6 seconds over Colin Sanson, which we thought, who we thought was faster than Pete Newman, but clearly Newman was just sandbagging us all the way in here.
Well, Sansom actually did a 2-minute 35.3, Newman 2:33.6, and he's going left and right. He's trying to do the old Nigel Mansell dummy as Pete Newman to try and get one up on Arnaud Chagnon, despite having the front end completely biffed in on that car. But yeah, Newman's going to get the toe on Chagnon as the timer now hit 0. So McPherson heads through into the chase for the final time. Griffiths not too far behind. Newman is going to get the overspeed now, and he's going to have the inside line for the first part of the chase at over 120 miles an hour in 5th gear. What's Newman going to do? Is he going to go 2 wheels across the white line? Yes, he is. Now he's lined himself up perfectly. He's going to outbrake Chagnon, and Pete Newman up into P3.
Yeah, and here comes Callum McPherson. He's going to round this one off. It's going to be an AM overall win here. But what I think is only the first time this season Callum McPherson comes over the line in the arms. It's going to be Griffiths in the pros, but McPherson takes the win. He comes over the line. His epic fight, epic struggle. He's got through all the traffic, comes over, does take the line with Griffiths. Newman gets 3rd place there. So a great run from Callum McPherson as Arnold Chagnon comes over in 2nd place in the arms. He's another one that's done rather well for himself. And Colin Sanson did finish the race in the end, but he finished it down in, where was he? In 5th place there as these guys come over the line. There's another incident before the checkered flag. It was PVG again. So what did he get up to
now?
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me, he's going to do it again, isn't he? Oh, he's pinballed off the other side this time.
Oh, no!
He lost the back end. No! Oh, dearie me. That was in front of Fiona Siddons as well, and she
helped him across the line.
She just got clipped, and what's happening here? That's the 65 of Sir Alan Toon right up PVG's rear bumper after the finish.
Yeah, there you go. There's Jamie Ayres in a very battered-looking car. He's going to be one of the last ones to finish, I think, with Dan Hunt, who, well, you can see Jamie Ayres has got a rather nice, interesting air bump in the front there. Good evening, Brian Holmes. Sorry if we've been here for a while and we've missed you there, sir. But good evening to you as Jamie Ayres comes down into the chase. Look at that car. It's well and truly, well, battered. Look at the state of that.
It ain't half broke, mate.
Yeah.
He was actually tracking left. Darryl Wright goes, go Callum in the chat. Darryl finished 7th in that race, but yeah, it's been a difficult one for two of the people that we see at the sharp end of the field every single time for most races. There's Dan Hunt. His car looks a little bit more together than Jamie Ayres, so might have affected a fast repair when he hit the return to, hit the toe button a bit later on. When he does, dearie me. Dan Hunt, I think, just wanting to forget this one, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way on that one. But let's bring you up the results of the second race of the evening. Callum McPherson is your winner with Tom Griffiths in second. Callum takes the overall win in the AM category. So great job from him. I think that's the first time it's been done this season. Pete Newman in third. Arnold Chagnon in fourth. Colin Sampson in fifth. They round out the podium for the AMs, and then Ralph Cullinan rounds out the podium for the pros in sixth. Then you've got Darryl Wright, Jamie Wilson, Fiona Siddons, Pete Van Gaal, Sir Alan Toon, Andy Littler, Charles Kellerman and Mick Barry, and then Jamie Ayres, Dan Hunt, Steve Hefford, Miles Owens towards the back end with Steve Hansford, and Martin Sampson, who we had a pleasure of talking to there as well. We're going to jump onto the BRB screen, guys. We will be right back very, very shortly as we change sessions, getting ready for race 3. Okay, guys, we are back once more for what will be race 3 and race 4. Alex, well, it's been a rather eventful evening so far.
It's been a rough one for quite a few of the drivers. PVG very much the same as well. But yeah, Callum McPherson, last in qualifying, gets to the midpoint of the grid for race 2, and then goes and wins by over 3 seconds. At one point had a 7-second lead, but we still have 2 more races to go. I mean, Steve Hefford having big offs, PVG having 2 incidents, very unlike them from what we've seen already this season. But you know what, race 3 is a complete mixed grid, and this could be another one where we could see some big dramas happening here, James.
I think so as well. But I think it could be an interesting one. I think the thing is, it shows so far that it hasn't really mattered where you start. It's just mattering how you finish and if you can get through what has been, at times, quite chaotic.
Agree with you on that wholeheartedly. It's just, the thing is, the close nature of this circuit in Mount Panorama. You know, when we were at Silverstone International, you had plenty of runoff area. And as we saw with Ralph Cullinan, and then also Martin Sampson, you know, they both went off at the same point of the circuit, you know, carried the momentum through the corners, and it was just the case of they didn't manage to keep the traction. The back end stepped out, and then all of a sudden, whoops.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Dan Hunt goes round there in front of PVG, manages to get stopped there, Alex, but I think the thing is, it's such a tight circuit that there isn't much room for anything, is there? You know, you go off up through the mountain, it's good night Vienna.
Or in this case, good night Bathurst. And you're on the toe, and you're into the pit lane. And yeah, I mean, folks, we are waiting for the session to move on to our third 15-minute race out of 4. Of course, after this, we'll have had 12 races completed out of 48. There's 4 races for each of the 12 weeks here of this spring season, or season 1 effectively of 2024. We did have the winter series, which ran just before Christmas and just after Christmas, and brought us quite nicely into this one. I think, as I said to you on the first race night that we did a couple of weeks ago here, James, that when I got bitten by that bug when we were seeing, okay, it wasn't the biggest grid, but it was quite a close and compact grid in terms of how hard the drivers were pushing, be it Pro, be it AM. And that's what I love about One Make series is everyone is in the same equipment, everyone's in the same boat, and there's nothing to hide apart from the skill of the driver and the stopwatch.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're riding just as a solo class, it's just all about what you do on the racetrack. And that's the thing. It's just how it's going to develop for you. Daryl Wright in YouTube chat, waiting for Mick as always. Oh, Mick Barry being a little bit slow coming back from his break, is he? Oh, I don't know. These drivers are not learning, Daryl, are they, when we say, right, come on, we're going to get on with it now between race 2 and race 3. And, well, Mick's decided otherwise.
He's decided his comfort break is going to take the length of when, until he gets the hurry up. And Craig Jones, you charlatans, has just gone. Mick is, Oh, Fiona Siddons, is she going for the Bathurst long jump? No, she's going to spin it in the kitty litter. Yeah, Craig Jones, you worse. But the checkered flag has come out for the session. We are about to get underway with race 3 out of 4 for round 3 of this first of 3 seasons for the UK SimRacers. So here's your random Miles Owen. Yeah, Miles Owens, Martin Sampson. Then it's Siddons, Toon, Littler, Hefford, Ayres, Cullinan, McPherson, Sansom, Griffiths, Hansford, Chanonier, Hunt, Barry, Wilson, Kellerman, Wright, Van Gaal, and Newman at the back end of the grid. As the lights now go on. 5 lights when they ignite, and then they go out. We'll be underway for race 3 out of 4 here for round 3. Lights are on, lights are out, we're underway, and a big plume of wheel spin from everyone in the top 10. But it is going to be Miles Owens that gets the whole shot initially, manages to hook up that second phase of the race start as they head into Hell's Corner for the first time. Fiona Siddons looking up the inside of Sansom early doors. Sampson on early doors going through into turn 1 at Hell Corner, but Sir Alan Toon is going to be towards the inside of the outside of Mountain Straight, and then the inside for Quarry Bend. Craig Jones saying Notta was not prepared. Any excuse, but Sampson chasing Owens down the last part of Mountain Straight into the right-hander here at Quarry Bend. Steve Hefford up the inside of Siddons, now looking for the move on Sir Alan Toon. Sir Alan Toon gets out of the way and still stays ahead of Siddons and Ayres for the moment. Cullinan not too far adrift. Siddons gets past round the... Oh, dearie me, Jamie Ayres went high, wide and handsome. He's going to try and do that through the cutting on Sir Alan Toon. Has to go avoiding to the right-hand side. Nearly clips the barriers, and he still gets through. That's Jamie Ayres up to P4.
Yeah, it is. Owens got away with Sanson. Hefford's got 1.3. Ayres has got 1.3, and then everybody else. Tooney still in the mix, leading the AMs at the moment. Fiona Siddons there, and unfortunately, it looks like...
Oh, Mick Barry, Jamie Wilson, Dan Hunt.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me. They were too wide up ahead. And what's... So just waiting
it's in front of him.
Oh, dearie me, Newman got speared into the barriers. His front end was... that was through Silman Park. And that is the 675 of Mick Barry losing the front bumper completely. Oh, dear.
I've had to go back a little bit further, but I think this could be where it starts here, because you see Hunt go round first, don't you? And then, unfortunately, everybody else... There it is.
Well, he tags, and then, oh dear, Sean Onyeg gets caught out. Wilson gets pretty much the get-out-of-jail-free card. Deary me, that was a big old wallop there.
It was. Martin Sanson coming for an interview, hoping to change his luck, and at the moment it is doing that. Not a worse, not prepared for a man who isn't even working at the moment. He's sat at home every single day currently until the end of March. So really, it's just his own time management, I think, for Craig Jones on that one, as Ralph Cullinan and Fiona Siddons swap places. Further back, PVG, Pete Newman and Charles Kellerman. It was either Steve Hansford or Kellerman. Well, it's Hansford, actually, because Hansford's in the pits. So these guys continue to fight out off here, Alex. And at the moment, Sampson's doing a stellar job.
Yeah. Kids and parents gone in the way today. Craig Jones, you can add another mark to your black book of excuses, I'm afraid.
Today.
You won't hear...
There's 7 days from the last round, and apparently he's only blaming today.
Yeah, exactly. But Sampson really chomping at the bit to get past Miles Owens. 0.2 of a second apart into Quarry Bend at turn 2. Owens still has a little bit of momentum carry through that corner. Then it's going to be very shortly into the left-hander here at the cutting. The double left, so they go up the incline, camber to the left-hand side. And still not that much between them, less than half a second. So Sampson keeping Owens very, very honest. They've got a 2-second lead over Steve Hefford, who's made his way up to P3, having started 6th. Jamie Ayres also in the move, up 3 places to 4th place. Cullinan also up 3 places to 5th. Fiona Siddons currently is, I think if I remember correctly, is now leading the AM class, and she's got Tom Griffiths and Colin Sansom on her case.
Yeah, it's Fiona Siddons. We have a Griffiths on a run down through the mountain here on lap number 2. Is she going to be able to hold it? She is. Goes round to the left, round to the right. Drops down now through the dipper, off down into Forest Elbow, and currently still holding that place. But Sanson and Owens just coming onto the Conrod. Watch the gap up front come right the way down. Siddons has just got that all wrong. That's going to allow Griffiths to go through. But here we go with Martin Sanson and Miles Owens as these guys mixing it up down the Conrod.
Cool, this is really, really getting close. It's that NASCAR bump drafting situation here as Sampson lining up Owens. Is he going to go to the left? Is he going to go to the right? He's actually keeping Owens guessing on that one. Meantime, Ayres not too far away from Hefford. Owens gets a little bit loose coming out of the chase on the second half of it, nearly opening up the door for Sampson. But you see the paddle behind. Sampson's got through on Siddons for the AM class lead. Newman trying to get past PVG and Andy Littler. And remember what happened last time in the last race between PVG and Littler. A little bit of touching between them through into the chase, and Annie Littler went for a spin, and PVG nearly lost the back end, managed to catch it, but Newman's going to get through on Littler, through out of Murray's corner. He's going to get the side draft, but PVG has got Littler to the outside. This is a 5-car squabble, because they've got the 350 of race 2 winner Callum McPherson and the number 67 of Charles Kellerman not too far behind either. So any one of these 5 make a mistake, especially if it's PVG at the front, and he's been prone to a couple of them in the last race, spinning twice out of the final corner. He's really got to be on his best behaviour as PVG and not hit that loud pedal too hard.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one though, isn't it? When you're racing so cleanly, you want to stay with the cars in front. Charles Kellerman still trying to hang on. Callum McPherson had won race 2 overall. Another race and victory, but again, I think that was the first time this season. Owens trying to hang on from Sampson. Craig Jones, I think I prefer Zach. Well, I think I prefer you stop whining. It is Bathurst. You should know it. You've raced here enough. I think you're just making excuses, to be honest with you. Probably just taking the night off. Been a busy day, Sam, innit, mate? Watching daytime telly. Been a bit of a tough one for Craig, it has there, Alex.
Well, you see that even with a slightly stoved-in front bumper, Sansom has got the bit between his teeth. He's keeping to within about 0.6 of a second of Miles Owens as they are going down through into Forest Elbow. They've got to be very, very careful now. Owens goes tighter to the wall. Sampson tries to avoid the inside wall. I'm sorry, Craig, you're making me laugh.
I was waiting for it, mate. I think it was either Jeremy Kyle or Jerry Springer, but clearly he's been watching Loose Women instead there, Craig has, unfortunately for him. But there we go. Pick and choose daytime telly.
Well, as they say, to each their own. But in the meantime, whilst Owens and Sampson have been battling, Heffern and Ayres have been closing in on each other. But here is Tom Griffiths right with Ralph Cullinan in towards the chase. And it's a bit close between these two. They both bump over the curbs on the inside through the left-hander, then into the right. They don't want to do a Scotty Mac redress on Garth Tander like it happened at the Bathurst 1000 a few years back in Repco Australia Supercars. But Griffiths getting the better run out of Murray's corner, and he's right up the tailpipes of Griffiths. Like literally, there's nothing between them as they go into turn 1.
Yeah, I think for Ralph now, he is just going to be under a little bit of the cosh here. As you can see on this side of the car, you see the Irishman there. Just alongside us is Tom Griffiths. Griffiths is there. Now you see the gaggle coming in behind, and this is all of these guys on the way through. That's Siddons, McPherson, Kellerman, Tooney's in there, Littler's in there. Poor old Charles Kellerman is sandwiched between a result clothing bread mix here, and he needs help from Steve Hansford, who's up the road a little bit, but I just don't think, oh no, Hansford's being lapped, so he couldn't help even if he wanted to. So Hansford moves over and Charles Kellerman tries to clear Callum McPherson, but Sampson still doing a good job putting Miles Owens under. Joey G, welcome in. Where did you come from? He just put lol, so I guess he's been listening here in YouTube.
And he's also been watching Craig's comments coming as well. Yeah, I mean, Steve Hansford's got no front bumper on that wagon, so Littler's just been passed by Darrell Wright. But yeah, the battle between Siddons, McPherson, Kellyman and Toon, that is for second in AM, isn't it? So it really is very, very close to wire. I mean, Colin Sansom has got a gap of about 1.7 seconds over Pete Newman. Oh, dearie me. Colin has... It was all going so well. It really, really was. He just lost the back end. It just rotated the car, front end into the barriers, and that was a possible opportunity for him to get past Miles Owens. But Owens is not out of the woods yet, because Heffern and Ayres, get this, the top 3 now covered by under a second. Miles Owens, you've got Steve Hefford right on your tailpipes going into the chase.
Yeah, I guess coming in for an interview early for Martin Sampson didn't work. And unfortunately he's had to jump back to the pits. That's released Steve Hefford with Jamie Ayres as these guys continue to go after Miles Owens. Owens, who come in himself, self-proclaimed and said he's had a rough night. Well, if he can get past this one in front, he might just feel a little bit of redemption as Jamie Ayres just goes absolutely shooting past us here on board with Steve Hefford. It's like we were just stood still for a minute there as Ayres just went straight past us and hurtled down into second place. And Newman's in the mix with PVG Sanson, but then it is this Callum McPherson, Charles Kellerman, Siddons, Tooney. I'm glad to see Tooney's not giving up. Darrell Wright, Andy Littler, still scrapping it out here as well.
Yeah, it really is. It's 2x2 Noah's Ark style formation at the moment. It really, really is getting so close at the minute. It is sometimes, oh my goodness me, don't try and make it 3 wide down Mountain Straight. It's just about achievable, but you've got to have real big stones to do that. And it's not going to be easy going through into Quarry Bend. I mean, McPherson's still keeping them at bay. Kellerman now third in the AM. Siddons down to fourth. Well, she's just been passed by Darrell Wright by a fraction as they're going to go into the cutting now. And Darrell Wright's going to go around the outside. Fiona Siddons doesn't really fight it, but she's got to keep on the defensive, whereas Miles Owens has got Jamie Ayres through on him. Now there goes Steve Hefford. Well, it was only a matter of time. It was not a case of if, it was when Miles Owens was going to get past and Ayres and Hefford got through. Now, where on earth did this happen? This is going through at the top of the hill. My goodness me, as they were going through Reed Park into Solomon. Ayres through on the inside of Owens. That opens the door because Owens sees Hefford and says, I don't want to have any part of tangling with a barrier, let alone another car.
He just couldn't do anything. He was pushed off the racing line. He wasn't conventional, so therefore he didn't have the speed carry that you normally would have being on the racing line at that top part of the circuit. And unfortunately, he just had no answer. It was like Ayres bullied him out, allowed the door to come open. Hefford said, thank you very much. I'm on my way, sunshine. And he took it past Miles Owens as well. So yeah, big kahunas from all of them, because I can tell you that much, it's not easy. As Hefford's just showed coming through the chase, going off the side of the circuit here, Alex. And I don't think Miles Owens is going to be done yet. However, this is going to be the final lap of the race.
Yeah, as Jamie Ayres inadvertently on a dry evening here at Mount Panorama activates the wipers inadvertently. But yeah, we go on to the final lap. Steve Hefford leading the way. Jamie Ayres has got the fastest lap of the race in the pocket, 2 minutes 33.289 for the number 46 from Wales. Into Hell Corner for the final time. So every single one of these 3 races so far have constituted a total of 7 laps, but I think Miles Owens is the real danger man here, because if Hefford or Ayres get out of shape, then the SimRace Sweden esports driver is in the prime seat, and he will not want to waste an opportunity. And he's going to try and go towards the outside through into Quarry Bend on Jamie Ayres. This will run the number 74 slightly wide, but might give him a bit more of a carry through momentum on the run up to the cutting. He's going to slot back behind Ayres, not trying to do anything daring or dashing, so to speak, because we've seen it before where drivers have gone around the outside and they've nearly clipped the barrier on the right-hander.
Yeah, what he doesn't want, Miles Owens, now, and I'm not saying Jamie Ayres is going to necessarily do this, but just slow up a little bit, give Steve Hefford a bit of a break to make it hard for Owens to get near him coming down the Conrod. In an ideal world for Miles Owens, he wants Jamie to go for it. He needs Jamie to go for it over Steve to bring him into the mix, because at the moment, out of these 3, Owens is sat in the better spot, but he's got to get closer than what he is. And this gap's got to be below at least half a second going into Forest Elbow, or as close to it as possible, because otherwise he's not going to get enough here for Miles Owens, I don't think. It might be strong, but it ain't a second strong, I can tell you that much, Alex.
Yeah, they come out of Forest Elbow for the final time. Hefford leading the way by just over 3.5 tenths of a second, with Jamie Ayres not that far behind. Now the closing rate starts to come into prominence with the slipstream to the advantage of the number 46. So Steve Hefford has got to have eyeballs in the back of his head right now. Down over the crest here at Conrod Straight. Ayres looking to the right-hand side, which will give him the outside line for the first part of the chase. He is going to try and get through, but Hefford, will he outbreak him into the first part of it? Yes, he does. That's him through to retake the race lead into the right-hander at the chase for the final time. One more corner to go, and it's allowed Miles Owens to close on up down into Murray's for the final time. Owens sweeps to the outside to carry the possibly try for the crisscross, but out of the final corner, it's the number 72. Steve Hefford wins race 3, and 99,000 separating Jamie Ayres and Miles Owens. It's going to be Tom Griffiths taking 4th, Ralph Cullinan 5th, Steve Newman 6th. PVG, Colin Sanson wins the AMS, but Callum McPherson is going to take a 2nd podium in the AMS, took the overall win for race 2. He's going to take 2nd, which is 9th on the road, just ahead of Charles Kellerman, and it's going to be Darryl Wright in the 84 that takes 11th, and more importantly 4th overall in the AMS. Andy Littler 12th, Alan Toon just in front of Jamie Wilson at the flag. Mick Barry very soon will be coming across the stripe. He's quite a bit of a way behind everybody else in front, and there is a very second-hand looking Mazda MX5 in the hands of Fiona Siddons, the number 59. Have a look what happened to her. This is going to be going through the dipper, isn't it? Is it going to be the same place as Cullinan and Sampson earlier on? Oh, she loses the back end. It was the other side, and she gets a tag and gets hit square into the barriers. Was that by the 87? Yes, it was.
The problem is, if you have a look, just as she comes in, now the car's unsettled. It's bottomed out, it's dragged it, and it can't get it stable. She's just relying on it going. Jamie Wilson's got nowhere to go. Pops his bonnet up in the air. That's the first time. Normally it's either on or off. And unfortunately for Fiona, there was nowhere Jamie could go on that one. We weren't sure if it was going to be on. Because it bottomed out, it loosened it all up. And, of course, it just had nothing. And she was trying to turn like she was still being able to be in control, but she wasn't in control. And Arnold Chagnon comes over the line in 19th.
Yeah, quite a significant amount down. And he's got no front bumper on that wagon. It seems to be a repeating pattern here at Mount Panorama. So yeah, it just does go to show, folks, that this circuit takes absolutely no prisoners. And I know for a fact, you and I know for a fact, that every single one of these drivers is going to breathe the biggest sigh of relief possible when it comes to going to Zandvoort next week for round 4. In some ways the circuit's going to be very close quarter when you go, like, say, into Gerlachbach, Hugenholz. But here's the results for this 3rd race. Steve Hefford pipping Jamie Ayres by just 0.3. Miles Owens was leading for the majority of the race until the 2 Momo drivers got through on him. He has to basically settle for P3. Tom Griffiths and Ralph Cullinan ran out the top 5 ahead of Pete Newman and PVG. Colin Sansom, another win in the AM classification in the Year 1 car, finishing 8th ahead of Callum McPherson. Charles Kellerman rounding out the top 3 in AM, completing the top 10. Darryl Wright, Andy Littler, Sir Alan Toon, Jamie Wilson and Mick Barry complete the top 15, followed by Fiona Siddons, Martin Sampson, Steve Hansford, Arnold Chagnon being the last of the drivers that crossed the line. Dan Hunt out with 5 laps to go. And, well, James, 3 down, 1 to go. This one again is going to be
race 4.
Race 4 is going to be a very, very interesting way to round off what is effectively going to be a quarter of a way through the season. 12 races in the bag out of 48.
Yes. Sorry, I'd lost all a bit sort of guidance of maths at that point. I'm sitting there going, 48? You sure? And I'm trying to work it out, but yes, it is 48. For some reason, I had 60 in my head. I don't know where I was going with that one, Alex, to be honest.
Well, you know what? Whilst we've got the opportunity, let's see if we can bring Steve Hefford in.
There you go.
Because he's in the interview waiting room. Steve, good evening, buddy. Well done on the W in race 3, but race 2... didn't go quite to plan, did it?
Oh, we don't want to talk about race 2. That's ancient history now. We want to talk about race 3, don't we?
Well, okay, let's go back on this one. Race 3, a great battle between you, Jamie, and Miles. I mean, Miles had been defending quite sternly from the pair of you, but of course that teamwork ethic that normally happens at Momo, you know, just really sort of, he was like, you know, the odd one out, wasn't he? It was like, let's go get him. And you guys were still within 4/10 of each other coming across the line after 7 laps. I mean, that's a pretty good feeling to get a win around probably one of the toughest circuits this season, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is, to be fair. It is. It's just one of those, and you just gotta really concentrate and not hit any walls like I did in race 2, because it can easily happen. You know, even towards the end of the race, you can easily get loose down the hill, and it's game over when you do. So, yeah, I was grateful that what happened in race 2 didn't repeat in race 3. So,
yeah, it seems like this circuit has been definitely a car killer. You found that out. Several other people have found that out. Martin Sampson, was battling with Miles in the early part of the race. He lost the back end of the car and ended up with the barriers.
Yeah, he was following at the time. He was only, I think, about 2 seconds behind at the time. He was like, well, that's made it easier. But yeah, that's another place. I think he just clipped the wall on the inside and it got him loose, and he got on the gas and it span it round, you know. But easily done.
Well, hopes for race 4 tonight of round 3?
More of the same, to be fair. I don't see why not.
Is that more of the same causing a parking lot, or is that more of the same winning the race?
More of the same from race 2, James.
Okay, mate. Sorry, I was just checking.
Well, Steve, we'll let you get back to it because warm-up's nearly finished, but all the best for race 4 of round 3, buddy.
No worries. Thank you. Good to...
Right, okay. Daryl Wright has thrown his 2 cents in on the YouTube chat. Craig, you got lost on the way to the track rather than getting lost on the track. Handbags at dawn.
Yeah, I've got confirmation now. Unfortunately, Craig is no longer watching. His wife came home, and Craig, being Craig, did the right thing, got off the phone as soon as possible.
Well, so I mean, Daryl had to throw his 2 cents in there, didn't he?
Oh, I'll send him a screenshot, Daryl, of what you've just said about him. It's fine, buddy. You know what I mean? He'll still
and then you can have it out. Yeah, then you can have it out with him on Discord DMs as a direct result on that one.
Yeah, there you go, Daryl. It's on his way to his inbox. Let's see if he reads it here before he goes to bed or something. I don't know what he's been up to be fair. But there we go.
I'd rather not know.
No, mate, I think, to be honest, he's been laying flooring or something. He's using his time off for a good use currently. He's been doing his flooring and, I don't know, all a load of other stuff that he's been trying to get done. But let's bring you up the grid for race 4. We're going to give it a bit of speed read. So Alan Toon on the grid once more with Andy Littler, Darryl Wright, Charles Cullen, Callum McPherson, Colin Sampson, top 6 Am there. Then we get into the pros of Pete Van Gaal. He will be alongside Pete Newman, Ralph Collin and Tom Griffiths, Miles Owens, Jamie Ayres, Steve Pfeffer, Jamie Wilson, Mick Barry, Fiona Siddons, Martin Sampson, Steve Hansford, Arnold Chonier and Darryl Wright. And I read that quickly because they're almost up and running. And we're almost underway here and almost ready to go. So let's get these lights on. Let's get the fourth race over and done with. And let's see if it's going to be complete and utter chaos, Alex, or if we're going to have nice, clean racing here. So, right. Oh, everybody else rushed on. And Martin Sampson and Steve Hansford took their time here. But here we go. Lights are on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are off and running, and it's green, green, green in race number 4. And it is Sir Alan Toon leading the way with Andy Littler in second, Darryl Wright in third, and Charles Kellerman in fourth. Callum McPherson fifth, and Callum Sanson in sixth goes alongside PVG. They've already had a little bit of ta-ta-ta and a little bit of loving this evening. Hefford, unfortunately, has gone round.
Hefford's round.
Yeah, there we go. Steve Hefford's gone round. Sir Alan Toon takes the lead, followed by Darryl Wright, followed by Charles Kellerman and Andy Littler. Oh, the result, boys, going to work together as I nearly fell off my chair and I leapt back on the wheels. That is
three wide from 3 wide, 5th to 7th. Newman's going to get the inside run into quarry as he's got... Who's he got round the outside of him? This is going to be...
Sanson and Cullinan. Sanson and Cullen. Yeah, they're all going for it here. Nobody given a quarter. It is literally Pete Newman, Ralph Cullen and Callum McPherson battling out. Tom Griffiths in the mix, PVG. Jamie Wilson's just going to clear Jamie Ayres. They're going to be running 2B2 here, Alex. Where do you go? Well, nobody knows because you've got that pack in front.
Just watch out for the barriers either on your left or right in terms of proximity. And that is never easier said than done. They're going to be 2x2 a little bit here through into Sulman Park on the run down to McPhillamy. One of which is Jamie Wilson, as you're going to see Mick Barry going round the outside of him at all places. McPhillamy as Mick Barry using the Kirby to get through on the 87, and there goes Miles Owens through as well.
Yeah, now we're coming in through the dipper. We're going to drop down round the right hander. Charles Kellerman, Pete Newman, Sir Alan Toon still sitting in fourth. Keep hold of Colin Sanson, mate, and you get a bit of a draft, Tooney, as he's battling away with Andy Littler. Darrell Wright's on his bike, 2.5 seconds. How long's it going to be for? That will be the question. Sir Alan Toon has got Charles Kellerman tucked up right behind it, side by side with Littler and Sanson. It's all going to be going off further back as well. There is no gaps between these guys. It is literally 8 seconds across the whole field if we count out Steve Hefford, who of course did a lovely pirouette at the beginning.
Yeah, and Steve Hansford didn't even make it out. He didn't even ready up, so he might have missed the boat on that one. But Newman round the outside of Toon, through at the first part of the chase, and then goes rally crossing. Toon has lost out to Cullen and to Griffiths, and now has McPherson past him on his outside on the run down to Murray's Corner. This is just, oh dearie me, this is all going to go horribly wrong at the earliest moment. The headlights are starting to come on now as we're getting into the night here at Mount Panorama, and look at the flood of cars. Top 18 covered by 8.8 seconds as we're now on to lap 3. Lap 2. My godfathers are now at side by side. Newman ahead of Sansom. And look, just in front, there is Darrell Wright. He's laughing all the way to the bank. Someone's gone off on the right-hand side of the circuit. I just saw. So Tom Griffiths has just got past Ralph Cullinan by a whisker. And look, they're 2x2, Noah's Ark style. This is going to go horribly wrong into Quarry Bend, as Newman tries to go around the outside of Sansom, who keeps a hold of second position. And look who just literally rocketed into shot. There's Callum McPherson challenging Tom Griffiths, of all people, heading into the cutting.
Yeah, Callum's loved this circuit this evening, but it is... Sanson, you're in the wall. He got loose. He
got hit up the back bumper by Newman, and that's concertinaed everybody. Sanson's still there in 6th place. They have it's like an MMA, it's like a bare knuckle boxing match. They've ripped off the gloves and decided to literally start clobbering each other. Yeah, that's not going to go down well.
No, Pete Newman, Tom Griffiths, Ralph Cullinan going through over the top. Sanson got loose, hit up the bomb by Pete Newman, who then put him into the wall and allowed him to stay there. As you can see, PVG's in the mix. He's just gone past Colin Sanson at the moment. These guys dropping down round through the dipper on the way round into Forest Elbow. Tom Griffiths there getting a battle under Ralph Cullinan as they're going to drop down, break into the straight line. Left they go. And at the moment, Newman is set after Darrell Wright, who's got 4.4 seconds. Newman's just got a 1.1. And Jamie Ayres is in with Callum McPherson and Pete Van Gaal, Colin Sanson, Charles Kellerman, and Andy Littler's leading the next pack of Miles Owens, Mick Barry and Sir Alan Toon. So, yeah, 3 packs of racing all going off here.
Yeah, just waiting for someone to light the fuse to set off the fireworks in a minute here, James, because we've got 5 minutes completed, 10 to go here in this final race out of 4 here at round 3 at Mount Panorama before we head to Zandvoort next week. And Tom Griffiths trying to stride away. I mean, he's got the gap between Newman and Griffiths was about 1.1 seconds. Griffiths has slightly eaten into that, but Darrell Wright is away and clear. He's doing a bit of like what we saw earlier on in one of the previous races when Callum McPherson was 6.7 seconds up the road. So if Wright can keep that lead, but we know how quick Pete Newman is. That front bumper looks to be a little bit rearranged on the right front of Newman's car, but that hasn't stopped him before.
No, it hasn't, and to be honest, I don't think it's going to stop him again, because you can see it's slightly little scuffed, but that's going to happen in general here at Bathurst. I think if you get through the top part without scraping the wall, you've done an absolutely blinding job. It looks like we've just lost 15th place though. Colin Sanson and also Wilson's on his way in. Oh, Colin.
Oh, and Miles Owens had to avoid there, didn't he? My Godfather's bad rejoin there from Colin Sanson.
No, I wonder how Miles Owens managed to get past that. He into the wall. Here comes Miles Owens. Hold it, Miles. Good job.
His inner Swedish rallycross Timmy Hansen started coming out there for Miles Owens, but a hell of a save. Yeah, I mean, of course, that contact that involved Colin Sanson and Jamie Wilson. Yeah, I mean, Miles Owens did handsomely well to keep a hold of that car. It was tank slapping all over the shop. But Pete Newman has got that gap down to 3.7 seconds, but Griffiths is going along with him, side by side between Cullinan and Ayres through into the S's, and Cullinan holds on by the skin of the bumper, or the paint on the rear bumper. He was absolutely resolute on not letting Jamie Ayres pass, who had the biggest set of cojones to try and pull off that move, and now he's trying to look up the inside of Forest Elbow. He's got PVG not too far behind either. PVG just hit the wall with both side wheels coming out of Forest Elbow, so that's probably minimal damage to PVG's car. But again, Ayres right with Cullinan. This is going to be, they're going to nearly be smacking door mirrors going down here at Conrod Straight at this rate.
Yeah, to go side as close as can, get the draft. Griffiths has got it over Newman. Newman's checked up. That's going to allow these two to come through. Ralph Cullinan, Tom Griffiths still going at it, and Ayres has got the inside. Now he's just got to try and use Tom Griffiths to the best of his ability. The problem is Ralph Cullinan's also trying to use him, and so is PVG. Further back from that, we've got Miles Owens, who's in a battle with Mick Barry and Steve Hefford. Steve trying to come back through the field, and then Sir Alan Toon, Charles Kellerman, Andy Littler, and Fiona Siddons fighting it out further down. But it is in this mix here. They're going to get hold of Newman, but what is that going to do for Darrell Wright? It will, and it should, give him some form of advantage if these guys keep fighting again.
Well, even though they are still fighting, Newman is still leading that train. Griffiths is 6/10 behind him. So the gap was at 4.4 seconds. Newman has just gone 1.4 seconds quicker than the race leader. So the pace for Newman is there. Ayres stays ahead of Griffiths for the minute in third place. Cullinan tried to fight back at Griffiths for fourth position as they heading up the hill through into the cutting. Cullinan is slightly ahead of the number one, and that's allowing PVG to try and get through. Griffiths back up the inside. A little bit of a touch between Cullinan. Oh, Griffiths tank slaps and into the barriers, and then that allows Callum McPherson to get through along with PVG. Yeah. Tom Griffiths having a bit of a mare there.
There was contact with Ralph Cullinan, that was the problem. Contact with Ralph Cullinan coming through the cutting, and that unfortunately put Tom Griffiths into the walls. He got a bit of a tank slapper there. Now what's Ralph going to be able to do? In an ideal world, he needs to stay behind Jamie Ayres. Let Jamie pull him into Pete, which is what is happening here as the gap's just gone down from 9 down to 7 within that short period of time. Ayres has got pace for days.
Oh, Cullinan lost the back end there going through. Oh, did he?
Yeah, he hit the wall.
Oh, dearie me. Tank slapper through the S's going into the dipper. But Cullinan, luckily enough, got away with that. And as a comparison to what happened in race 1, yeah. Oh, he got a touch. He got a touch from PVG, didn't he? When he lost the back end, PVG was in the right rear of him, and that caught him out and hit him in the barriers.
Yeah, it did. You can see now, though, Ayres is pulling it in Newman. Newman's getting into Wright. From Darrell Wright's situation, he doesn't want this. He wants this 4 seconds back. He needs Ayres and Newman to go back at it once more, coming in through the chase, because he knows he hasn't got the pace. And Darrell Wright is not going to be upset that I'm going to say that. He knows he hasn't. It's now down to 8 attempts. He needs these guys to scrap so he can try and get on his bike a little bit. The problem is Jamie Ayres and Pete Newman, neither of these are stupid. As they're coming round Murray's now, they're not going to be ridiculous. They want to get hold of Darrell Wright. They're not going to be fighting until the final lap, as we go on to lap 5 here with one more remaining.
Darrell Wright just did a 2:37.0. Newman 2:34.6. Ayres 2:34.2. Effectively, give or take. And Newman now pulling to the left-hand side down Mountain Straight. That's going to give him the side draft on Darrell Wright. But then, of course, trying to go to the outside through into Quarry Bend here at turn 2 is brave, but if you've got a nose ahead, you might be able to make it work. But Darrell Wright's going to try and keep the inside, but Newman looks round the outside of him through at turn 2. Has he got the job done? Just about.
Yeah, I don't think, though, for Darrell Wright's situation, he's either got to push Newman now or get pushed by Ayres. It's in this middle section that Wright loses quite a lot of time, because PVG's closing in, McPherson's closing in, and they're coming up now, and he's got to make sure he stays with Pete Newman. Follow his line, do what Pete does, because you don't want to leave the door. Oh, Jamie Ayres there off to Kim Kardashian's plastic surgeon as Darrell Wright has just taken his nose off. So now this is where Wright needs to be. Ayres, that is not going to work well. Back out before you drop down. He needs to be close getting through this section, running down into Forest Elbow.
Yeah, but look who's coming up behind them, PVG and Callum McPherson. And there is also the resurging Tom Griffiths, who's in 6th. So they look at it, sounds like a Japanese hornet's nest coming down through the dipper and into Forest Elbow. Of course, we're right under nightfall now. You can see how bright these front headlights are lighting up the circuit. Down Conrod Straight, where they're going to be pushing close to 130 miles an hour in 5th gear. Newman leads Wright by just over 0.2 of a second. Look at the closing speed that Darrell Wright's got. That's exactly what he wanted, and he's edging ahead of Pete Newman. Ayres is going to go through. Will this open the door for PVG? It might.
Yeah, it's allowed Wright to get the run. The problem is he's now in the worst spot going into the final lap, because he's going to have these gladiators, these lions chasing him down with Ayres, Newman, PVG, McPherson and Griffiths, and he's in a bad spot now for Darrell Wright. I know he's in the lead, but going down that Conrod on the final lap, you don't want to be where Darrell Wright is, because as we've seen with Pete Newman, you lose 2 places, so he kind of needs to be in with Newman if he can.
Yeah, into Hell Corner for the final time. Barney the Flag Marshal feverishly waving that white flag as we've got just under 6 kilometres still to go. 4 races that have just literally rewritten the storybook of this first season for 2024. And now Jamie Ayres looking towards the outside down Mountain Straight like we saw with Pete Newman just a couple of laps ago. Ayres is going to nose ahead by about 1/4 of a car length into Quarry Bend. Darrell Wright keeps to the inside. Jamie Ayres throws it high, wide and handsome with a big old pair of stones. Oh, Pete Newman hits the wall with the left-hand side. That allows PVG and Griffiths to get through as they head through to the cutting.
Yeah, and now Darrell Wright's almost in a place where he needs to. He's just got to stay. Ayres can't get away too much, and I don't think he's going to be able to manage it. PVG is in there. Darrell Wright, Tom Griffiths, Callum McPherson, Pete Newman as they go off now round the top part of the mountain, up through 8, 9 and 10. Down into the skyline they're going to be going shortly. Down then through the dipper for the final time. And Darrell Wright's kind of in the position. He just needs a little bit closer. He needs PVG to get him that little bit more closer to be able to get the run. But if we don't see 3 or 4 wide going down this Conrod, I will be very surprised here for the final time.
But you know what happened in the previous race? Miles Owens was a second behind the race leader, James, and Darrell Wright is around about 1.5 seconds. So if PVG can pull right along down Conrod, as they're about to come out of Forest Elbow for the final time this evening, if he gets that toe that he needs from PVG, no, he's got Griffiths right up his exhaust pipes. Darrell Wright is going to be, well, that's going to literally put him in harm's way with regards to Callum McPherson, who's already taken a couple of AM class wins along with an overall victory tonight in race 2 as Griffiths gets alongside Wright for P3.
Yeah, they're side by side now. Tom Griffiths on the left, Darrell Wright on the right. Darrell Wright on the right. Ayres is going to come through the chase. He's going to take the victory overall. Right, could hold on to that arm lead. McPherson's got Newman. He's now going to be, if Wright opens up the steering, blocks the move from Tom Griffiths. He had the opportunity, he didn't take it. Now Griffiths is going to come alongside him here. He's coming into the final corner. Griffiths is going to bully him out. Jamie Ayres is going to take the victory. Puy Van Gaal in second. Darrell Wright is going to get third. Is he? Is he not? Is he going to be? Is he going to be? It's not. Oh, well, he just
by 23 thousandths.
Oh,
my Godfathers. Callum McPherson denied the win again in AMS for what would have been 3 times tonight, I think. Race 2 overall winner, won it in race 3, but finished 7th, if I remember.
Yeah.
But wow, that was close again.
Yeah, another great evening of racing. Boy, oh boy, was that like a battle, wasn't it, going over the line there at the end? And yeah, some very interesting racing indeed. But let's bring you up the results from the 4th and final race here. And it is, as you can see on your screen, Jamie Ayres, your winner, with Pete Van Gaal behind that. Darrell Wright, Tom Griffiths, Callum McPherson and Pete Newman over the line. Literally 3 tenths between Wright and Newman. Ralph Cullen, Miles Owen, Steve Pefford, Mick Barry rounding out the podium in the AMs with Charles Kellerman, Andy Littler, Sir Alan Toon, Fiona Siddons, Colin Sampson, Jamie Wilson, Martin Sampson. The interview didn't work. I'm sorry, Martin. Maybe just staying out of the booth altogether. That might help you. Arnold Chonier, Dan Hunt and Steve Hansford round it off here, Alex. And I think we can safely say, wow.
Yeah, and next up, they've got another old school track to deal with, Circuit Zandvoort for round 4. Well, you know what? I think really, James, I like literally, I've plateaued. I'm now on that adrenaline come down. What an evening it's been here at Mount Panorama, mate, for SimRacers for round 3 of this season. My goodness.
Yeah, absolutely epic fighting all the way through. They generally do, and at high draft tracks, it is literally unbelievable. But I think that's going to wrap it up here for this evening, guys. Thank you so much to everybody that has joined us in the YouTube chat. But yeah, well, I need to go and have a lay down before the BSC later on. Come and check it out on that one. We've got the GT4s back as well tomorrow night. So a lot more action happening on the JPB YouTube channel once again. And don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells here, because you've got GT4 action from the Nürburgring tomorrow. We've got the Radical Race Series from Road Atlanta. And if you want to see 1964 historic sports cars tackle a 37 to 42 minute lap at the Target Florio for 3 laps, that's all they're doing at an unbelievably long circuit, come by on Saturday, because we've got the VWFC on that night. I can't say that, but night from me. Well, you know, look, I don't know, Miles. It was one of them things.
Milo, come back next week and give it some. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Apart from what James has just talked about, we've got the WCCS F1 2023 round 5 at Circuit of the Americas, sponsored by Dubbing, on the 30th. Then got the iFormula League F3 Series live from the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, round 9. And then we got round 3 of Season 2 Formula 4 IGB Fun at Road Atlanta. Yeah, but myself and James, we both need a bit of a lie down. James has got a broadcast in a few hours, but we'll see you tomorrow night for GT4 Global Challenge round 1 at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Until then, good night, guys.